Every guitar and bassist hits roadblocks, but some mistakes can stop your progress dead in its tracks. They're invisible, easy to overlook. These game killers sneak into your practice routine and derail your music progress. Today, we're going on a hunt for the killers. The 3 most common mistakes that every player makes at some point. Are they already lurking in your practice room? Come on in and find out. You ready? Let's get nerdy. I'm Andy Schneider, career musician turned guitar coach, producer, and author of over 100 books from my publishing company, Sing Music Books. I was a high school band nerd, then a devoted jazz guy, then a backing musician for great artists in every type of music. From Austin to Nashville to New York City, I've learned from my musical experiences and the great musicians that were there with me. I'm a self-taught guitarist, but I was lucky enough to get the right bits of education early on in my career. Pairing that with the many conversations I've shared with more experienced musicians put me on the path to success, a path that built my skills to become the experienced, confident musician audiences enjoy today. I created the Guitar Nerd podcast to give you simple steps to building and growing your musical knowledge, having greater abilities, and getting that amazing music that's inside of you out and into the world where we can all enjoy it. Whether you're a beginner or experienced guitar or bass player, if you want to make fantastic music, you're in the right place, my friend. Now let's get nerdy. Welcome, everyone. My name is Andy Schneider. Welcome back. This is Guitar Nerd, the place where we talk all the stuff about nerdy guitar stuff and nerdy bass stuff, all the intricacies and the weird, wacky stuff that makes us guitar and bass players go. It's the technique, it's the gear, it's the music theory, isn't it? Those are the 3 things that are everything about picking a guitar or thumping that bass. And whether you're new to playing or have some experience, I hope you're going to find something here this week to energize your music and to keep you on track, because this week's episode is all about making progress. Really making progress and getting over those roadblocks. Yeah, the killers. And everybody has them. There's some very common game killers that I see all the time in my students. I mean, they're almost predictable because all of us trip over them. And I'm going to break it down, and you're going to find it funny, I think, like how easy it is to move past them after you know where to look, right? Hey, I've got news for you, an update. If you were listening last week's episode was about picks. It's the beginning of your sound. It's the very first thing that sets everything in motion and has such an amazing amount to do with your tone and your technique. It's an often overlooked subject, and I think that's so crazy in a world where we love to focus on the big gear, on the big ticket items of guitars and expensive amplifiers. And we forget and we overlook that there are some subtleties in those little picks that change everything. They can take your sound from one type of thing to sounding like somebody else completely, and it's worth doing. So we talked at length last episode about every kind of pick there is out there, and all the different facets that you might want to look at, think about, even hot rod, right? We talked about hot rodding your pick. Like, why settle for what the factory offers you? You don't have to do that. You can modify things like the size of it, the edge, the shape. And I had an idea in my head because if you're a listener of this show, you know that I'm a big fan of thumb picks. I just love them. I love them for guitar. I love them for banjo. I love them for bass. I think the thumb pick is just a genius invention because, for one, flat picks are really easy to drop. You start getting sweaty, or maybe a million things can happen. Boom, down goes your pick. now you feel silly having to bend over and pick it up on stage. It's happened to me 100 times. And then I discovered thumb picks, and then I started getting much more comfortable with thumb picks. See, one of the problems with thumb picks is that there's not a lot of variety, certainly not the variety that there are out there for flat picks. And being that there's only kind of a few models, if you go down to your local guitar store and pull open the thumb pick drawers, you'll find 3 or 4 models in a couple of different thicknesses, and that's great, that's cool, but that's not enough for me. I have very specific ideas about what I want for the tone that the pick's going to provide, and sort of the edge. It kind of seems to drive the midsection of my notes by getting something with. I like something with kind of a blunt edge, not a tapered edge to the pick at all, just something that looks like it's been cut straight out of plastic with a cookie cutter. Well, I had an idea last week as we were getting ready for this show, and I didn't want to mention it because I wasn't really certain it would work, but it did. I made myself a thumb pick, and I think I have made myself my ideal thumb pick. I love, I'll just tell you, my favorite flat pick are Tortex, at least for bass. I'm talking about for bass these days because I'm playing a lot of bass. But this little process here could work for anybody. I took my favorite pick and I kind of married it to a thumb pick idea. I took an old thumb pick that I wasn't in love with and cut off everything except the loop that goes around my thumb. So it was really kind of just like a thumb ring, I guess you'd say, a plastic thumb ring. And then I glued that to my favorite Tortex pick. And as soon as the glue was dry, I had to try it out, and I about couldn't stop practicing. It was like everything I ever wanted was in this one little pick that cost me nothing. It was just 2 picks out of my pick drawer. Really cool. I'm going to do an entire episode about it in a few weeks. I'd like a little bit of a chance to build some more because I think there's a lot of ideas going on here, but I'll clue you in and let you know how it develops. I'd like to see everybody have their ideal pick, and maybe a custom thumb pick is exactly for you. One of the things I love about thumb picks is that if you're holding it like a normal pick, right, with your hands closed, it becomes a normal pick. You can strum your guitar or pick leads in all the normal ways. And then if you want to open up your hand, like you're going to high five somebody, you can start fingerstyle picking your guitar. And I love that flexibility. It's really cool for different techniques and for getting different sounds. So here I've got my perfect thumb pick for bass, and I can pick everything in a rhythm part. But then maybe if there's a bridge part and I want a softer sound, I can open up and fingerstyle pick my bass. Or I can open up my hand and easily use my fingers to hammer on the neck. Then close my hand up again and go right back to picking without having to do any tricks like palm it or set the pick down or put the pick in my mouth like I used to do. Feel like I've got all of my tools in one little pick, and it looks pretty groovy too. So we're going to have a build your own pick special in a couple of weeks. But this week we're going to be talking about game killers. If you're developing as a player, I bet you get frustrated from time to time, and I can almost predict what it is that's knocking you out, that's knocking out your progress and your motivation. And it's one of the killers, the game killers. Are you ready? I'm going to lay them all out for you, and I want to first break them down. There's 3 things, 3 areas, really, that manifest in these 3 game killers. The areas of trouble are mechanical, like, moving the mechanics of your hands. There's a mechanical problem. There's a mental problem. And then one that I would just kind of call an attitude. And all 3 of those can break you down and cause such a interruption in your progress that it becomes a real thing that starts to reinforce itself. And that's no good at all. So let's get over those. Let's start talking about the 3 killers, the killers in your practice room. Identifying and correcting these game killers can transform your playing, helping you to progress faster and enjoy your instrument more. The first problem I see in almost every student, every beginner student for sure, and many that have been playing for years, the first problem I see when they come through my door is poor hand position. It's almost always the fretting hand. Having your hand in the wrong position builds up tension. It makes it impossible to reach your fingers to those notes. Students wonder, why am I so slow at learning the chords? This is really difficult. And in every case, I kind of grab their wrist and move it back into position. And I'll tell you what happens. If you're in your first year or two of playing, check this out, because this probably is applying to you. It's very easy for students to sort of throw out their wrist. The arm and wrist up into the hand should be really absolutely straight at all times. When it gets bent, like hold your fretting hand out in front of you so it's looking at you, looking at your open hand, and start moving those fingers towards your nose, right? You feel the pull on the back of your wrist? That's no good. That's no good at all. You feel a pull there. That's all those muscles and tendons and things tightening up, making it impossible to move well. Super simple, right? But in the heat of the moment, when people are thinking, oh, 3rd finger, 6th fret, 3rd string, it becomes really easy to overlook that, wait, wrist is in the wrong position. Well, so it takes sort of a feedback loop of reaching for those notes, saying, why is this difficult at all? Realize that you need to look at that wrist, straighten it out, and I bet you your fingers go further, faster, easier. So that's number 1, poor hand position. It leads to tension and fatigue and can even to injury over time. Keep that wrist straight, go further, faster. The second killer that is probably waiting in your practice room is poor rhythm. Inconsistent rhythm. Whether it's the note length themselves or whether it's the tempo, this is a major course of study for every beginner. Oh my, I mean, I started on piano, and then I went to violin before picking up a bass or a guitar. And it takes years. It takes years. And in fact, being honest, it never stops. Rhythm is the single most important thing that we musicians do. It comes before melody. And poor rhythm is just poor rhythm. Can't have good music without it. A great thing to do is make certain that you own a metronome and are using it. Use it every day, especially for your first several years. It's absolutely vital that you become in tune with when you're playing correctly in time and when you're not. And when you're still thinking, how do I fret this chord, or how do I play these notes, or how do I make sense of this 1 and 2 and 3 E and a 3 E and a 4? How do I make sense of this rhythm? When your brain is in other places, it's really easy to let go of the tempo, or it's really easy to let go of the subdivision that makes the flow of notes. So practice with a metronome. You'll be amazed. You'll be amazed at how quickly you progress. Many metronomes are available on your phone or device's app store. They're there for free. I think I use a free metronome app myself. And if that just doesn't inspire you, that's okay. There's drum machine apps. There's drum machine or loop apps that let you set a tempo. That's really important. You want something pretty adjustable, but there's some really good sounding free drum apps. And that is often a real motivator to hear your music with some drums going on behind it. Nothing wrong with that. It is a lot more interesting than just a click, click, click from a metronome. So whichever works for you, just grab it and do it. Steady time is absolutely fundamental. Another rhythm behavior that I see some students falling into is really kind of just a bad habit. I find that some students like to tap their foot. Whatever you do, don't. Resist that temptation. Seems like it should be a good thing, right? Like you're kind of keeping time with part of your body. But what I've found inside of myself and in my students is that if part of your brain is working on making your foot tap, do a little dance, then that part of the brain is compartmentalized, and the other parts of the brain are left to figure out all the other stuff about playing the music, getting the notes right, getting the rhythms right. The two parts of your brain aren't really helping each other. It doesn't reinforce. So don't tap your foot. Just get that metronome or drum machine and rock out. The third game killer that I find is one that few people love to hear about, but it's about consistency. It's about having a regular routine, regular practice sessions. Without that regular routine, progress stalls. Skills fade and habits don't form. Good habits don't form. That's when frustration comes in. It takes a regular routine, and this is really important. Please hear me now. It does not have to be a large practice session. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying regularity. Even if it's just bite-sized pieces. You got 15 minutes at the end of your day, make sure you do it then every day. 15 minutes won't kill you. In fact, it becomes something that you look forward to. And when you start doing this, it's incredible if you go from no routine to a regular routine. I guarantee it won't take too many days before you're thinking, wow, I can do stuff today I could not do yesterday. How'd that happen? How'd that change happen? I think something kind of happens inside of us as we're building skills and habits, that the ideas, the energy that we put into our fingers, getting our bodies to do the right things to pick the guitar, and getting our minds and ears all attuned and aligned, I think it kind of takes time. Maybe it's something great that happens while we're asleep, when we're dreaming, and these little bits of cognition come together, and maybe some neurons are being fused in a new way. I don't know, but it always seems like a magical thing that happens overnight, and with regularity to your practice routine, I think you're also going to see that progress happen. I do advise start small. 10, 15 minutes a day, way better than a single long session once a week. Oh my, that's the slow way. Thinking that you need to sit down and punish yourself for a long practice session because you haven't practiced in a while. That's hard. And it sort of reinforces the fact that rehearsal is punishment. Practice time is punishment. It's not. It shouldn't be. Make it rewarding. Set a specific time and a specific place so that it becomes habit. Same way you brush your teeth. Do it so that it becomes habit, and find a nice quiet place that's just yours, free of distractions. Shut that phone off. Use a log or a calendar to track your practice sessions. It's really fun to see your progress happen. And it's so neat to see, like, wow, I'm playing the C major scale now at a tempo of 72. I started out at Ep025. That's such an amazing bit of accomplishment and success. It's like a little pat on the back that you give yourself. So get a log or a calendar, like a diary, and keep track of your progress. Well, there you have them, the killers. The killers in your practice room, the 3 that get us all sooner or later. Did you hear yourself in any of those? Are you having trouble with your hand position, reaching those notes? Are you experiencing any discomfort? Ooh, that's bad. Never ever play in discomfort. Are you having trouble with rhythm? Or is it just a matter of consistency and locking in a practice schedule? Well, if you heard yourself as having problems with hand position, a great way to get over that is with a teacher. Teacher can quickly point to those things when your mind is somewhere else, just trying to knock out correct rhythms. And if you don't have a teacher nearby, I've made a book that's probably the second best thing, next best thing to having a teacher. I've made 2 books, one for acoustic players, one for electric. They're called Acoustic Guitar for Adults and Electric Guitar for Adults. Both are specific to those instruments. You learn different chords in the acoustic book than you do in the electric book, things that are more appropriate for playing those instruments. And it takes you from square one through playing real music in various genre styles, like 50s rock and roll, 60s rock and classic rock. We've got 80s alternative. You get the idea. Your kind of music is represented there with rhythms, with chords that are typical of that genre of music. It's just a great way to dive in and start playing real music immediately. The bonus of both of those books is that every example and song has an online streaming video, so that you can watch me, yours truly, picking the guitar, playing the example for you while you read the sheet music on screen. You can keep your eyes on the screen, watch me doing it, both my strumming hand, and you get to see the fretting hand up close, which is about as close to having a teacher in the room to demonstrate how things go. So you can pause the video, check your hand position. Does it look like mine? If it's a bent wrist, all contorted out of shape, and your elbows are knocked out of line and way away from your body, you know that maybe you need to match it up to the video that you see. It was just a way that I came up with to hopefully transport a little piece of myself to your practice room and just make it a lot easier to see and hear how music should be played. So if you head to my website, seeingmusicbooks.com, look for these books, Acoustic Guitar for Adults and Electric Guitar for Adults. There's a book 1, a book 2, and a combined book 1 and 2 of each. Wherever you're at, whether it's square one or you're moving on and really starting to put together some song skills, I think you're going to really like these books. Acoustic Guitar for Adults, Electric Guitar for Adults, in the bookstore at seeingmusicbooks.com. Today we covered 3 game killers that can hold back your progress: poor hand position, poor rhythm, and lack of routine. I'll tell you a little secret about me and probably every other professional guitar player I've ever known. What we work on is usually those things. It's usually, even though, yes, we know how to play great rhythms, we know how to fret lots of chords, great artists are always reaching for that next thing, which means playing chords we've never played, playing new rhythms, putting it all together in new ways. And I myself, I have to look to those things. If right now, I'm working on some cool hammer-on kind of bass rhythm things, I'm looking at hand position a lot. And while I'm there, I remember, hey, Andy, don't be so focused on getting your hammers just right. Don't forget the rhythm. Are you sure this sounds correct? Okay, so those are the things that I look at all the time. And of course, everybody's working on routine. Real life comes up, knocks us out of progress. Get back to the routine as soon as you can. It's just like that. Thank you for hanging out with me on this podcast and following on social media. I love hearing from you and hearing what you're up to. Maybe you're going to try a custom thumb pick. Ooh, I can't wait for that episode. I'm going to have so much more thumb pick science to dish on you by the time that we get to that episode in a couple of weeks. Next week, we're talking about walking some bass lines. Yeah, we're going to take that bass line for a walk. This is good for way more than just bass players. You guitar players, you know what I'm talking about. Every so often, you got boom ba doo 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 or something else. Even you metal guys, you know what I'm talking about. You got to double that bass part every so often. Walking bass lines from chord tones, taking it from I've got this chord to we're going to walk this cool bass line. How do you do it? We're going to talk about it all next week. You got great music inside of you, guitar player. Hey, bass player, you know what you got? Great music inside of you too. Let's get it out. Let's get it into the world. Everyone needs to hear you. Your ideas matter. And there are people that need your music right now. You're a day closer, aren't you? Thanks for tuning in. You can do this. Focus on these areas this week. The killers. Remember what they are? We've got a mechanical thing, right? We've got a mental thing, and we've got an attitude thing. The attitude being, got to lock in a nice routine, a nice, easy, repeatable routine, regularity. The mechanical, watching your hand position. And then we've got the mental, watching those rhythms. Look for those areas in your practice session and see how your playing improves. Remember, small changes can lead to big results. Until next time, have a great nerdy week. I'm Andy Schneider, and you've been listening to Guitar Nerd.